left high school with a 1.8 or a 2.3 if you use the boost, and I'm leaving college with a 3.5, 2 degrees, and I will be heading to med school soon. I'm pretty proud of myself, but more on that soon. Hello everyone, welcome back, and if you are new here, welcome. I'm Jordan. Come on in, don't be shy, have a seat. We're gonna have a little bit of a chat today. It's gonna be serious, it's gonna be informational, might be a little bit fun. Can't guarantee that it's gonna be fun, but it might be a little bit fun. And we're gonna talk about how I'm getting a dual degree and what things you might be able to do that as well. This is primarily going to be helpful for people who are coming into college, people who are in their first, second, or third year in undergrad. And of course, if anyone's curious about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, you can also stay. I'm breaking this video down into 4 parts. It's going to be on one of these sides. First, we're going to talk about my story, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. We're going to do some quick summary of what a dual degree is and how it's different from a double major. And then we're going to talk about some tips and tricks, things that I've done or things that I've learned as I'm pursuing this dual degree. And then the last thing are going to be caveats, whatever you want to call it. Either way, it's going to be things to keep in mind when pursuing this. So I guess we can just get into the first part. All about me. Alrighty, so like I said, part 1 is about me. It's about my story. It's about how I got where I am right now. So we're gonna go back a little bit. We're gonna start in high school. My first 2 years of high school, I didn't do as well as I should have. I didn't apply myself. I was having some mental health issues as well. So a lot of things were kind of dragging down my GPA. And then I decided to snap back into it when college started getting really important in junior year. And in senior year, unfortunately, all the A's that I got in junior and senior year didn't recover my GPA from my first 2 years. So I went to UMass Boston for my first year, made some great friends, and killed it in my first year classes. So I ended with a 3.9 and got into the honors college at UMass Amherst and transferred there for my sophomore year. And so I've been here ever since. I started as a psych major with 2 minors in Afro-Am and Italian, partially because I had already been taking Italian for all of high school. And then I decided that there was really no point in me taking Italian. I can't imagine what I would have used it for. And I don't know why I was trying to do that, but I thought it'd be cool to keep the language going. But anyway, I ended up dropping the Italian minor and kept Afro-Am as my single minor and doing psychology. Then I ended up turning into my major at the beginning of junior year, and by the spring of junior year, I found out about a dual degree, how to pursue it, and I added Afro-Am as my second degree. So that's where I've come. That's how I got here, and I'm really excited about it. Now, why am I doing a dual degree? Partially because I can, because it's a possibility for me. If I had to be here for another year or 2, I probably would not do it, especially because I don't think I'd be able to stay for another year or 2, but I think I'd be able to stay for another year, and that just wasn't feasible to me. And also because I have a deep passion for both psychology and for Afro-Am studies. Being a psychology major and being a very social person kind of go hand in hand for me. I really wanted to understand why people do what they do, how they do what they do, and where it comes from. And then for Afro-Am, as a Black woman in the United States and as a person in general, I wanted to learn more about the history that's been swept on the rug for far too long. So I wanted to have a depth of understanding in Afro-Am as well. And I'm a future pediatrician. We're getting there. I'm a future pediatrician, so I'm also on the pre-med track, but I also felt like it'd be important for me to have an understanding of mental health as well as the systemic issues within the country, which is why I tag teamed it and got a dual degree. It doesn't hurt also that it'll make me look like a little bit more of a competitive med school applicant when I have 2 bachelor's degrees instead of just the 1. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it. And now we're going to talk a little bit about how I'm doing it or how I'm getting it done. And then we'll move on to the other stuff. This part is talking about what a dual degree is and how it's different from a double major. I'm sure you've heard of double major. I hadn't heard of the term even dual degree until my spring of junior year, which is why I'm making this video. Not enough people know about this, and it's not that difficult to achieve if you know about it early enough. So we're going to talk about the differences from a double major and a dual degree. There are only really 3 differences amongst the 2. One would be your requirements. So for example, I'm in psychology and I'm in Afro-Am, which means I'm in 2 separate colleges. I'm in the College of Natural Sciences and I'm in the College of Humanities and Fine Arts. For my dual degree, I have to complete the requirements for both schools. And so for CNS, I think it's a certain science class and a couple other little requirements. And then for HFA, it is foreign language. Now, if I was doing a double major, I would only have to complete the requirements of one of the colleges, whichever was my primary major. The next thing is credits. How many credits are each thing like worth, or how many credits do you have to get to achieve it. So for a double major, you only have to get 120 credits minimum to graduate with your degree with your 2 majors on top of it. Whereas for a dual degree, you have to get 150 credits within 10 semesters. So that's 5 years roughly. They give you 5 years so they can take more money from you, but we'll talk about that later. And the last thing that makes them different is what you're receiving. So for a double major, you will be getting 1 degree with 2 specialties or 2 specializations versus a dual degree where you're getting 2 separate degrees with 2 separate specializations. So for example, I would be getting a Bachelor of Science in Psychology with Afro-Am as well, like on top of that degree, versus getting a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and a Bachelor of Arts in African American Studies. To my understanding, those are the differences: your requirements, your credits, and the diplomas, or the degrees, I guess. Righty, part 3 are the tips and the tricks. This is going to be important. Either write it down or just keep replaying it until you remember it, memorize it, or something. I don't know, whatever works for you. But to start, we're going to talk about AP credits. So for those of you that have taken AP classes in high school, use those AP credits. Those were super helpful for me, and I only took 2 AP classes for some reason. I did well on both of those tests, and I was able to use up, I think, 11 or 12 credits, just going straight to my credits as a transfer credit for a class that I'd already taken. So it was counting as college stuff, but it was things that I did in high school, and that's super helpful. The next thing is to start off as a minor. The whole point of college is to kind of explore your interests and things like that. So pick something that you're interested in or you want to be learning more about, and then you can go from there. That's what I did. I picked it as a minor initially, so I was already checking off the requirements for the major, but I was also further exploring my interests to see if it was something I even wanted to do. And that I kind of did accidentally. Like, that wasn't my plan. My plan wasn't to get to this point, but it did help a lot. Next thing, and I know it's going to be a little bit irritating, I know all of you guys are going to roll your eyes when I say this, talk to your advisors. I know they can be so irritating, and sometimes I know they can be unhelpful when it comes to planning your classes or when it comes to literally anything that they tell you to go to an advisor for. They can be so unhelpful, and it's like, I'd rather just look this up and figure it out by myself, and that's usually what I've done. But in this case, I went to my advisor in the Afro-Am department, and I was like, I have to stay for another semester to take these 3 or 4 classes, or like 5 classes initially. And I was like, this is gonna be so overwhelming, and then I have to overload for my last semester in the spring, like senior spring. I'm gonna have so much fun, but I'm also gonna have to take a ton of credits, or like I wanna have fun, but I'm gonna have to take a bunch of credits. And so she was kind of helpful, and she helped me figure out which classes I've already taken could qualify for some of the requirements. Even though advisors tend to feel unhelpful or things like that, you can go to your advisor, you can go to a dean and show them your transcript, and they can help you figure out what will fit into your major so you don't have to stay for much longer. This is kind of something I did by accident. As an Afro-Am major, a lot of the requirements count as gen eds as well, which means that I then have 4 credit classes instead of 3 credit classes, and having a bunch of 4 credit classes helps kill that credit requirement much faster than if I was taking a bunch of 3 credit classes. Of course, don't kill yourself and overload the semesters if it's not something that you can handle. I did it once and it was only 21 credits. I don't recommend it. I barely had a social life. I was losing my mind. So, take with that what you will. Take from that what you will. I don't know the saying. Anyway, next thing to do, summer and winter classes. I know. You want to have your break time, your rest time. You don't want to be taking classes all year round. But in reality, like, summer and winter classes have really helped me get to where I am and to finish in 4 years. Like, I took 1 summer class once because I didn't do well in one of my classes, and I was like, this is actually not that bad. It was a 6-week, like, intensive kind of class, but it worked out. And then last winter, I took 2 classes. It does take away a little bit from the relaxing, but if you know yourself and you know what you're doing over your breaks, use it wisely, truly. So those are the tips. Let me read through it one more time so that you guys can, I'll put it on the screen or something. AP scores for credit. Start it as a minor so that you can start working towards those requirements. Use your advisor. Even though it can be frustrating, use your advisor. Heavier weighted classes, whether gen eds, classes like that, so you can start killing your requirements faster. Take summer and winter classes if necessary, and plan ahead. Please plan ahead. Let's move on to part 4. Let's move on to part 4. We made it to part 4. I'm so proud of you. Thanks for staying with me. I know it's been a lot, but I said it was going to be informational, so I hope you're learning stuff. So these last 2 points are kind of big ones and kind of general ones, but these are the caveats. These are the things to keep in mind when trying to pursue a dual degree. And those things are time and money. Yeah, money makes the world go round, unfortunately, and time is something you can never get back. So exciting. So first we're going to talk about time. When it comes to a dual degree, you have up to 10 semesters to get it done, but that would mean that you're a super senior, and that would mean that all the people that you started college with will probably be gone by the time that you are completing it, if you stay for the 10 semesters. For me, I'm graduating with my peers, but with double the amount of degrees than I planned to initially. So money, it can come into play in a couple different ways in terms of summer or winter classes, or if you end up staying for longer. So now on to my personal example. I initially was going to stay for another semester, and I was okay with it originally because I was like, I have like 5 classes that I need to take care of. Before talking to my advisor, I had like 5 classes I needed to take care of, and I'm already an RA, so I was like, it wouldn't be as expensive as it would be if I wasn't an RA, so I guess it's fine. And I figured that the money that I'd saved from not paying for housing would be helpful for my parents. But then after talking to my advisor, I realized that I could get like most of the class, a couple of the classes like nullified, so that I could take a reasonable amount of classes in the spring of my senior year and then have like 3 classes remaining or something like that. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, why not just add those classes to a winter session or a summer session or something? And so I ended up taking 2 winter classes. They are both 4 credit classes, and you do have to pay by credit, which is where the money comes in. But that was still a more cost-effective choice for me to make than for me to move back in as an RA, taking like 2 or 3 classes and paying like $11,000. I'm paying $4,000 to take these 2 winter classes and then having a little bit of a heavier senior session or senior semester. That was a better choice for me to make, and I wanted to walk with everyone and be done. But like I said, you have to pay by credit. That's the money part. Pay by credit in the winter and summer classes. There are 2 sessions in the summer and there's 1 session in the winter. Highly recommend taking 2 classes or less in those sessions because it can get overwhelming, and it is a 6-week intensive class. So keep that in mind, especially when it comes to balancing summer jobs that you have or whatever you want to do over winter break. And then, is it something you want to do if you want to stay for another semester? Plenty of people do it. It just wasn't something that made sense for me, but I was able to finesse it. I was able to work it out. That's everything. I hope I hit everything that I wanted to hit. If anyone has any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below or hit me up on Instagram right over here, jordan.eharris, and ask me whatever questions you may have. And until then, I have videos on YouTube, plenty of them. I have more coming out. I also have videos on TikTok that I have coming, and they're going to be the similar videos that you see on YouTube Shorts. And yeah, I really hope that you learned something. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for the support, and I love you lots. See you later.